Good afternoon. This is one of our last modules in professional development, but probably one of the most important. Today I'm going to be talking about ethics in instructional design from a biblical perspective. So oftentimes professionals in the field of instructional design do not have a good grasp on the importance of ethics or a clear picture of the code or the rules that govern our professional behavior. It's going to be really important. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. That during our daily practice, we must exercise ethical integrity. We must make ethical behavior part of our professional responsibility. We must teach others in our field, and we're really responsible for that, to be aware of ethical considerations. And then we need to know what the ethical issues are in our current today's environment and climate. In all, we must be reflective practitioners in the field of instructional design. And with all of these, you can see I've bold reflective because I'm going to be talking at the very end about scripts. But Proverbs says, 27:19, as in water, face reflects face. So the heart of man reflects the heart of man. We must be reflective practitioners in our field of practice. Now, how do we manage our ethical practice? Well, we must exercise ethical integrity in our daily practice, and we've got to make ethical and moral behavior part of our professional responsibility. As I said, we've got to teach others in the field. We need to be current, and most importantly, we need to be responsible for the consequences and the implications of our behavior. Excuse me. Let's talk about integrity. So whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Proverbs 10, verse 9. And so integrity is going to have to be part of our daily practice, which is part of scripts. Now, steps into ensuring this awareness of our ethical issues. Well, one of the things we need to do is it's a good thing to identify potential problems in advance when dealing with situations or an environment that may involve ethical issues. Identifying possible unethical issues in advance that may arise, so we're proactive instead of reactive. And like all other professionals, we face ethical decisions daily. In Brown 2017, this is an ethical decision-making model that's used by counselors, but similar to what we need to do. We need to define the problem. We need to apply our code of ethics, which I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. We need to consider the people involved, especially with school. We need to consider the ages, the developmental levels. We need to consider the setting that they're in. At the very end, we're going to talk about that classroom setting, individual rights. We must apply those moral principles, determine our potential course of action and the consequences, evaluate the action that we have selected, consult if needed. We have our principals, our administrators, our professional staff, and then implement the course of action. But the important thing is ensuring awareness. This advance is very important to be proactive. So I talked a little bit about professional ethics. There are two different bodies of knowledge that we can look at. The ITSE Code of Conduct for Professional Ethics, principles of ethical behavior to maintain the highest level of professional conduct are put forth by ITSE. We must know that when we must communicate professionally and constructively. We need to make sure we maintain our composure with dignity, courtesy, respect, especially when in a disagreement. We need to be open-minded to others' points of views and, in our avenues of communication, and share responsibly. Be sure to separate our opinion from fact, be respectful when providing feedback, and the environment should be a safe environment for all and be supportive for diverse groups. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Matthew 7:12. There's In ITSE, there is also unacceptable behavior. This is something that we need to, our instructional designers need to know that making offensive verbal or written comments is unacceptable. Negative behavior, racial or other negative comments about diverse peoples is unacceptable behavior. Displaying of inappropriate pictures, images, or videos, intimidation, stalking or following others that's seen as harassment, any type of inappropriate behavior. So do not be deceived, neither the sexual, immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers. So 1 Corinthians. And we have this biblical perspective from our biblical worldview when we are teaching others. We also have the AECT Code of Ethics. This is from Reiser and Dempsey. Educational technology is the study and the ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technology, processes, and resources. When we look at the AECT Code of Ethics, there's a lot, this is well worth taking a look at, because we have a commitment to the individual, our learners. We have a commitment to society, and we have a commitment to the profession of instructional design. And this commitment, we need to commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Commit your way to the Lord and trust in Him, and He will act. Commitment is part of our scripts, and we need to make sure that we're committed to the individual, to the society, and to the profession. I want to talk a little bit more about professional ethics and performance and technology in the classroom, because this is what a lot of us are faced with. We need to be especially reflective when we use technology in the classroom for teaching and learning. It's where a lot of things can happen in the classroom. There's a lot of ethic issues when it comes to using the internet. We need to consider student safety and student privacy, especially when students are accessing the internet at school. We need to be very aware of the materials that are developed for classes or in schools and make sure that we're looking at those ethical issues. And as I said before, being proactive, knowing that we have a class of whether it's elementary or middle or high schoolers, that we need to be proactive about what could occur. Cyber ethics and professional ethics should be part of our instructional design process. So within the context of what our current course is, we should be teaching cyber ethics or professional ethics. So this should be ingrained. So when you were using our different instructional design models, we can ingrain our ethics and ethical use into that environment. So when using instructional design models, they should be used effectively and efficiently for designing projects, materials, and also for using and addressing ethical issues in the learning environment as well. Can also use these instructional design models, can be used to develop courses on ethics for our students or during professional development. That's one thing that you can do when you go back to your school. But this approach provides learners with practice, collaboration, participation, feedback, active learners. And if we go back to what we've learned in our last class, we talked a lot about being about digital citizenship. So very similar ethics in our professional job and career, very similar to what we teach our children. I want to end off with scripts. So we have we have social responsibility, we have commitment, we need to be reflective practitioners, we need to work with integrity, and we need to be professional. So as we look back, if I go back to ethics in instructional design from a biblical perspective, if we look at our scripts model that we work on each week, and we think about the different components, this is a really good guide and framework to be ethically responsible in instructional design. I have a few references right here. This one by Brown and Gurney, those are really worth reading, so please go ahead and I will share this with you. Thank you again for listening, and if you have any questions, let me know. All right, have a great day.